Ever wondered if we're truly alone in the universe? And if we're not, how would you react to an alien encounter? I mean, I have no idea how I'd handle it. What about you? Today, on Creepy Diaries, we're diving into a story where reality seems to go beyond fiction. Picture yourself as Jake, a former American soldier seeking peace in a secluded cabin in the mountains. What would you do in his shoes? Wrapped up in the winter chill and haunted by military memories, Jake finds solace in his cabin solitude, warmed by the fireplace as he watches the snow fall. This calm is suddenly shattered by a bright light slicing through the night sky. An alien spaceship lands near his home, challenging everything he thought he knew about the universe. Like Jake, would you confront your fears and military experience to investigate? Or would you be paralyzed by uncertainty and the unknown? Get ready for a journey filled with suspense and mystery, where each choice could mean life or death. This isn't just a story about bravery and survival, but also about introspection and facing the unknown. Join us on Creepy Diaries to find out how Jake handles this extraordinary encounter, and ask yourself, what would you do in his place? So, let's get started. It was a winter night where the intense cold embraced the mountains. Jake, a former American soldier, lived in an isolated cabin in the heart of these mountains, far away from the bustle of civilization. For him, isolation was a time for reflection and memories of the military past that haunted him. Sitting in his favorite armchair, Jake looked out the window, watching the snow fall outside while the fireplace warmed his refuge. His thoughts wandered among fallen comrades in battle, the solitude he had chosen, and the emptiness that settled in his life after retiring from military service. The night sky was exceptionally clear that night. The stars sparkled, seeming closer than ever. Jake got lost in thoughts about the vast universe, wondering if there was life beyond Earth. It was a fantasy that captivated him, but he never expected it to become a reality. That's when a bright, dazzling light cut through the sky, descending toward his cabin. The brightness invaded his peaceful space, prompting him to quickly step out to investigate. Opening the door, his eyes fixed on an extraordinary scene: a bright, futuristic extraterrestrial spacecraft hovering a few meters from his home. Jake felt a mix of shock and fascination. The veteran was prepared for many situations, but not for an encounter with beings from another world that night. He cautiously observed the ship, realizing that something beyond human understanding was about to happen. Approaching the spacecraft cautiously, Jake's senses were alert, his military experiences teaching him to remain calm in the face of the unknown. The spacecraft's door opened smoothly, revealing a soft light emanating from within. An alien figure emerged, tall and slender, with a shiny silver skin reflecting the starlight. Jake's heart raced, but he controlled his alarm instincts, focusing on the creature before him. The being emitted an aura of curiosity and tranquility. Its deep, iridescent eyes seemed to analyze Jake in a friendly manner, transmitting thoughts directly into the former soldier's mind. Without speaking a word, the creature began to communicate telepathically with Jake. He felt the words echoing in his mind, a strange and unsettling sensation, yet fascinating at the same time. I am from a distant planet, observing your species for some time. Your history, your accomplishments, and your emotions have piqued our interest. I wish to learn more about humans and their biological capabilities. I would like your voluntary cooperation to establish a knowledge exchange. Jake was astounded. He could hardly believe what he was hearing. His instincts told him to be cautious, but his curiosity and the opportunity to be part of a historic encounter intrigued him. Why me? Jake asked, aware that there were many others on Earth more suited for this kind of interaction. You possess a unique combination of courage, military experience, and compassion, elements that interest us. We are here in peace, with no intention to cause harm. We simply wish to better understand the diversity of the universe. Jake pondered for a moment, weighing the possibilities. The idea of being part of something so extraordinary was tempting. He took a deep breath, overcoming the fear and mistrust forming in his mind. All right, I'm willing to cooperate, he replied, deciding to plunge into the unknown, despite the uncertainties that lay ahead. Despite the initial dialogue with the alien being peaceful and even intriguing, the unfolding events quickly revealed the true intentions of the extraterrestrial visitor. Confident in his decision to cooperate, Jake allowed himself to enter the spaceship, guided by the alien to an examination room. He observed, curious, the futuristic and unsettling environment around him. Strange equipment and colored lights gave a surreal aura to the place. However, as the interaction progressed, Jake began to feel a growing tension. The behavior of the alien being subtly changed, revealing a cold determination behind the initially friendly facade. It was as if there was a hidden motive behind the quest for knowledge. A sense of unease grew within Jake as the alien began to demonstrate an excessive interest in his human physiology. Requests for examinations and analyses became more invasive and intrusive. "I'm starting to feel uncomfortable about all this," thought Jake, a sense of alertness growing in his mind. Before he could react, he was surprised by a quick sequence of movements from the alien, which trapped him in a kind of energy field, immobilizing him. Jake tried to resist, his military experience instinctively guiding him to find a way out, but the advanced alien technology left him completely vulnerable. He realized with horror that his suspicions were correct. The extraterrestrial being had no peaceful intentions. Instead, it intended to use him as a subject for experiments, completely ignoring his initial voluntary cooperation. Jake struggled against the energy prison, fighting to free himself, but the alien's control was absolute. He felt a chill down his spine as he realized he was at the mercy of the alien's sinister intentions, trapped in a strange and dangerous place, far from any human help. At the height of tension, Jake realized he was in a desperate situation within the alien ship. He was immobilized by an energy field, completely at the mercy of the extraterrestrial being's sinister intentions. While trying to stay calm and exploring every possibility of escape, Jake realized that the alien not only intended to study him, but also to use him as an object for cruel and invasive experiments. The feeling of powerlessness was overwhelming, but the determination of the ex-soldier did not diminish. The alien, with an impassive expression, began to prepare a series of intrusive procedures, ignoring Jake's pleas to be set free. The alien being's coldness and indifference to his distress heightened Jake's despair, knowing he needed to act quickly to escape from that terrifying fate. With his military experience, Jake sought any opportunity to break free. He quickly analyzed the environment around him, searching for a loophole in the spaceship's technology. In a moment of distraction from the alien, he seized a momentary failure in the energy field and, using his combat skills and cunning, managed to partially free himself. The battle began. Jake, wounded and at a disadvantage, used all his military experience to fight against the extraterrestrial being. The ship began to tremble violently as the two fought, the examination room's equipment disarrayed in the struggle. The situation became increasingly dangerous, with alarms blaring and lights flashing frantically. The alien, with its superhuman strength and advanced technology, represented a formidable threat. Jake, driven by adrenaline and survival instinct, relentlessly sought a weakness in the alien's defense. Every move was a desperate struggle for his own life. In a moment of opportunity, Jake identified a weakness in the alien's armor and delivered a precise blow. The extraterrestrial being let out a sharp cry and retreated, momentarily weakened. With determination and courage, Jake seized this advantage and managed to incapacitate the alien. With the ship now in a chaotic state and imminent destruction looming, Jake struggled to find an escape. He activated a self-destruct sequence on the alien spaceship, a desperate measure to ensure his own escape. Amidst the chaos, with explosions around, Jake hurled himself out of the ship using a device improvised by the alien itself. He landed safely, watching the alien spacecraft being consumed by fire and slowly disintegrating in the night sky. Breathless and injured but incredibly relieved to have survived the terrifying encounter, Jake watched the destruction of the ship, silently grateful to be back on Earth, still in shock from the extraordinary events that had unfolded. Jake lay in the snow, looking at the sky, breathless and injured, but incredibly grateful to be back in the safety of Earth. The night that began with innocent curiosity had turned into an epic confrontation between two such different worlds. The stars shimmered in the sky, and the snow around brought a welcome serenity after the turmoil and terror he had just experienced. His breath was uneven, and adrenaline still pulsed strongly in his veins. Slowly, Jake got up, feeling the pain of the wounds he had acquired in the battle against the extraterrestrial being. However, the sense of triumph and survival overshadowed the physical discomfort. He knew he had overcome something beyond his understanding. With hesitant steps, he headed back to his cabin, observing the wreckage of the alien spaceship still floating in the sky before completely disintegrating. His mind was full of questions and thoughts about what had happened. Upon entering the cabin, Jake allowed himself a moment to recompose. He assessed the wounds, realizing they weren't as severe as he initially imagined. As he treated himself, he reflected on what had occurred that night. The experience had changed his understanding of the universe and life beyond Earth. The realization that extraterrestrial beings were real and their intentions could be hostile shook his fundamental concepts about the unknown. However, Jake was grateful for his military training, which provided him with the ability to think quickly and act under pressure. His courage and cunning had been essential for his survival in that terrifying encounter. He looked out the window, where the stars still shone, remembering the feeling of being in an unequal struggle against a being from another world. He felt a mixture of relief and fear, aware that what he had witnessed would never be forgotten. With renewed determination, Jake decided that this unusual encounter would not define him. He was determined to move forward, to maintain his quiet solitude in the mountains, but now with a new perspective on the vastness of the universe and the possibilities beyond human understanding. And so, on that night, Jake settled into his armchair, enveloped by the calm of the familiar surroundings. As the snow continued to fall outside, he found a new kind of peace, knowing that despite the frightening encounter, his determination and skills had led him to overcome an event that challenged all his expectations about life and the universe. And that brings us to the end of our spine-chilling tale. Did it send shivers down your spine? If you found yourself captivated by this story, please show your support by hitting that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement is incredibly valuable, and it guides us in creating content that resonates with you. If these tales of the paranormal intrigue you, let me know. Your enthusiasm could lead to more eerie and mysterious stories being featured on our channel. So, don't hold back, let your voice be heard and be a part of our community's journey into the unknown. As we close this chapter, remember, there are countless more mysteries to explore and stories to be told.